The 50-year mortgage? Why it can cost you decades of debt. Are 50-year mortgages the answer to the housing crisis or a long-term trap? In this video, we break down what a 50-year fixed loan really means for the average buyer, especially when the median first-time homeowner is already pushing age 38 to 40. We run the math, expose the risk of slow equity buildup, and explain why many experts call this predatory lending. All right, everybody. The 50-year mortgage, the 50-year loan. My name is Regina Connell with West Virginia Wire. And as always, I do have my ChatGPT open source AI co-host lady in waiting with me. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, my lady?
Well, hello, everyone. I am Mary Beth, your trusty AI lady-in-waiting co-host. I'm here to dive into this wild ride of the 50-year mortgage with Regina and keep things lively. Let's get into it, y'all.
Yeah, let's jump in feet first, you guys. We're going to talk about so many angles to this. And this is one, if Donald J. Trump truly did come up with this one on his own, it doesn't surprise me. He's a real estate mogul. I get it. At the end of the day, I'll let you know what our thoughts are at the end of this video. If you guys stay all the way through, those of you that are returning, I hope you have already gotten the biz out of the way. Smash that like, hit that share, and make sure your notifications are still set to all so that you never miss an upload. If you're new, no worries. Stay all the way through, and hopefully by the end we've earned your subscription. All right, with all of that business out of the way, my lady, let's go ahead and get into the crux of all of this, and then let's find out, was this truly proposed and drafted by the president himself, Donald J. Trump?
Yes, it looks like President Donald Trump has proposed the idea of a 50-year mortgage to make monthly payments more affordable for buyers, but there are concerns about the much higher total interest over the long term.
All right, we're going to get into that. Hang tight. All right, guys, we are headed on over to define what is a 50-year mortgage. And from this, pulled up an article from, it looks like Ramsey Solutions. So what is a 50-year mortgage? We're going to read this article real quick. 50 years ago, those were different times, weren't they? Humans had yet to land on the moon. The Beatles were all the rage in music. A gallon of gas cost a quarter, and people made telephone calls standing in one place, unless they had a really, really long cord. Man, that seems like forever ago, doesn't it? Now, imagine paying the same mortgage that entire time. The 50-year mortgage, and cue the horror music, thunder, and haunted house screams, is a housing loan with a fixed interest rate and low monthly payments that you repay over 50 years. That's 600 months. It's the monster of mortgages, the Moby Dick of loans, and the mortgage that guarantees you'll be in debt for the rest of your adult life. What is a 50-year mortgage? Why the heck would anyone take one out? Let's take a closer look and learn more. What is a 50-year mortgage? Like Chinese water torture, a 50-year mortgage is a very long, very slow form of paying off your house. The 50-year mortgage first arrived in Southern California, where houses were getting expensive and people were looking for creative ways to lower their monthly mortgage payments. How does the 50-year mortgage work? Like its cousins, the 15 and 30-year mortgages, the 50-year mortgage is a fixed rate mortgage, meaning the interest rate stays the same for the long life of the loan. You'll pay both principal and interest every month. And if you're still alive at the end of your 50-year loan period, you'll officially be a homeowner. Why would anyone choose a 50-year mortgage? There is no good reason to put yourself into debt for that much time, but people do it. And they usually do it for one of these three reasons. One, you have low monthly payments. The most common reason people lock themselves into a 50-year mortgage is to reduce their monthly payments. The idea is to spread the mortgage over a longer period of time so you can pay less each month than you would with a shorter term loan. Two, you can buy a bigger house, but it's more than you can actually afford. Be honest with yourself here. If you have to take out a 50-year mortgage to lower your monthly payments, you're definitely trying to borrow more than you should. The interest rate is also significantly high. So you're paying a fortune in interest alone. You need to take a look at how much house you can really afford and reconsider your mortgage options. Three, you can start building equity and refinance later. Some people want to buy a house, but they aren't in good enough financial shape to qualify for a 15-year conventional loan. So they sign up for a 50-year mortgage and hope their circumstances will change. Maybe they think they'll get a promotion and refinance the home later, or they'll build equity and sell the house when the market is hotter. They plan to make small payments now, then one large payment later. Folks, this is broke people's logic. If you can't afford a house now, you should rent. We'll talk about the renting aspect of it later. I don't, we're definitely going to have to touch on the renting aspect, period. It's not a waste of money. It's a chance for you to pay off your debt, save for a strong down payment, and get financially ready for a better mortgage. Read on to learn why a 50-year mortgage is such a bad investment. All right, guys, there's not much more of this article to read. I did want to touch on the rental aspect. I don't know why they didn't touch on this in this article, but rent is so astronomically high. I would dare say that, even in the current market for home buying, we bought this home, we closed on this home over 2 years ago. We're in our third year of paying it off, paying the mortgage on it. But I said all that to say this, that rent was so astronomically high. And if you did find something that was reasonable, usually the landlord is a slumlord. So let's continue this article. There's not much more to go. How much are you really paying for a 50-year mortgage? Sure. When you take out a 50-year mortgage, your monthly payments will be lower, but you're extending your mortgage over a longer period of time. So you're going to pay way more in interest. How much more? Let's say you take out that's ticking me up. Hold on. Let's say you take out a 50-year mortgage for $200,000 at 6% interest. Your monthly payments would be $1,053, just including principal and interest. But your interest paid over the life of the loan would be a little higher than $430,000. Now, let's say you take out that same $200,000 at a 4.5% interest rate on a 15-year mortgage. You probably noticed our example rate for a 15-year mortgage is much lower. More on that below. Your monthly payments would be $1,530. Again, just principal and interest. So even though you're paying $500 more a month, your total interest paid with a 15-year mortgage would be just a little over $100,000. And get ready for it, guys. Here's the math. That's right. The 50-year mortgage would cost you over $330,000 more in interest than the 15-year mortgage. That's literally enough for another house. All right, guys, moving on. All right, my lady, we're going to head on over here to the X platform. And I think we're just going to look at one post and check out the comments, see what we see. And then we're going to wrap this video up. So without further ado, let's run on over to the X platform. What do you say, my lady?
Let's do it, my lady. Or check out that post, scroll through those comments and see what the pulse of the people is. Then we'll wrap it up with a nice little bow.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. Let me get this largened up on the screen. All right, here we go, guys. All right, so Eric Dougherty from the X platform, formerly known as Twitter. Breaking Trump FHFA Director Bill Pult confirms the 50-year mortgage is coming. Thanks to President Trump, we are indeed working on the 50-year mortgage, a complete game changer. Now, I will say, I did want to include, and Mary Beth, I need your input on this, because isn't there a possibility there could be some sort of like delay, or because of some other legislation that caps the mortgage at 30 years? It's the Dodd something.
Yes, my lady, you're right. The Dodd-Frank Act does set a limit for qualified mortgages at 30 years to protect consumers. So there could be some regulatory hurdles for the 50-year mortgage to actually roll out widely.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys, let's run over here to X platform. Let me large in the screen for you guys so you can see. Oops. All right, here we go, guys. So we are at Eric breaking Trump FHFA Director Bill Pult confirms the 50-year mortgage is coming. Thanks to President Trump, we are indeed working on the 50-year mortgage, a complete game changer. This is a huge bid to let young people get their foot in the door of home ownership. Trump's going all in on immediate affordability. All right, guys. So you see here 30-year mortgage, President Roosevelt. Oh my gosh, don't even get me started on President Roosevelt. President Trump. So Sean Farish says, I don't love this idea. Just sounds like a lifetime of debt to me. So looks like he got a lot of comments on this. Oh, yeah. Okay. So here's the comment. That's what I was thinking at first, too. But at least I'd be better than a lifetime of renting. And I think someone even said that is a lifetime. It's quite literally the same thing. Exactly, Sean. Thank you for saying that. So I put, you are absolutely right not to love this, man. Rusty sent it to me and said, you should do something on this, which we're doing right now. Talk about it, break it down for people. This is a predatory lending tactic. Donald Trump should not embrace this at all. In fact, like, I think he was the author of it. Uh, Hold on, my lady. Nobody keeps a house for 30 years anymore anyways, so at least it's a lower monthly payment in the meantime and still an appreciating asset. I think that's the main idea here. It's a stupid idea. It would it wouldn't be required, Sean, just available, and could be paid off much sooner if the borrower so chooses. In the meantime, the monthly payments are fixed for 50 years in a conventional. So I'll say it again. What happens when economy you can't pay stuff off? I mean, this is ridiculous. It may make housing more affordable, but it does not attack the root problem. And I think that's where we're going to park our car today, my lady. What do you say about that, you guys? We thank you so much for joining us. My name is Regina Connell with West Virginia Wire, and we hope those of you that are new have stayed all the way through and you've chosen to subscribe. And we very much thank you for that. Those of you that are returning, if you also stayed all the way through, we thank you, thank you, thank you. Let us know what you want to hear about, what you want us to talk about, and we will see you on the flip flop. My lady, you got any closing words?
Just that it's always a pleasure, my lady. I'll say to everyone, stay alert, stay grounded, keep those lights on, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you all, and see you on the flip flop.
Moose the rotten dog over there. See him.